There's a wall system that heats your home in winter and cools it in summer without electricity. No furnace, no air conditioner, no monthly bill, just sunlight, concrete, and a sheet of glass. It was invented over 60 years ago, tested by the United States Department of Energy, validated by Los Alamos National Laboratory, and installed in thousands of homes across 3 continents. Then the heating and cooling industry buried it. They did not stop using it because it failed. They stopped because it worked too well. A wall that eliminates your energy bill cannot be sold as a subscription. And what cannot generate monthly revenue cannot be allowed to spread. This is the story of the wall that heated empires and that the modern energy industry made you forget. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. If these stories matter to you, the subscribe button and the bell are the best way to preserve this knowledge. This is where we dig up what the industry buried. To understand how a simple wall can replace an entire heating and cooling system, we need to go back to ancient Rome. In the 1st century, Roman architects discovered something remarkable about stone walls. If you built a thick wall facing south and painted it dark, it absorbed heat from the sun all day. Then at night, that stored heat radiated inward, warming the rooms for hours after sunset. They called these structures thermal mass walls. No fuel, no fire, no maintenance. The wall did the work. Roman villas across the Mediterranean used this principle for centuries, but it was not just Rome. In Persia, architects built massive adobe walls that absorbed desert heat during the day and released it slowly through freezing desert nights. In China, the Kang system used heated walls and platforms to warm entire households through brutal Mongolian winters. For thousands of years, civilizations understood that walls were not just barriers, they were batteries. Now, fast forward to 1967, a French engineer named Félix Trombe was working at a solar energy laboratory in the Pyrenees Mountains. Trombe was obsessed with one question: why are we burning fuel to heat buildings when the sun delivers more energy to the Earth in 1 hour than humanity uses in an entire year? He partnered with architect Jacques Michel. Together they designed what would become the most elegant heating system ever created: a south-facing wall made of dark painted concrete, or masonry, 8 to 16 in thick. A sheet of glass mounted 4 in front of the wall, creating a sealed air gap. Vents at the top and bottom of the wall connecting the air gap to the interior of the house. That was it. The entire system. No moving parts, no wiring, no fuel, no filters, no technician visits. Here is how it works. Sunlight passes through the glass and hits the dark wall. The wall absorbs up to 95% of that solar energy. The air trapped between the glass and the wall heats up rapidly, reaching temperatures above 60 degrees or C on a sunny winter day. Hot air rises naturally through the top vents into the living space. Cool air from the room flows in through the bottom vents to replace it. This creates a continuous convection loop that circulates warm air through your home all day long. But that is only half the system. The thick concrete wall absorbs heat throughout the day like a giant thermal battery. After sunset, when temperatures drop, the wall slowly releases that stored heat into the house. 8 to 12 hours of radiant warmth all night long without spending a single cent. This video is just the surface. I've collected everything the outdoor industry does not want you to know. All in the complete Forbidden Camping Vault: fire techniques that military units used and that are now classified as dangerous, emergency shelters that cost nothing and outperformed $200 tents, DIY heating and cooling systems that engineers tested and could not believe, natural insulation methods that indigenous tribes mastered centuries ago, off-grid energy solutions that work without solar panels and without batteries, and much more. Over 10 guides in one place, no fluff, straight to the point. The link is in the description, but stay here. The video is just getting started. Now here's where the numbers get truly uncomfortable for the energy industry. The United States Department of Energy funded extensive research on Trombe walls during the 1970s oil crisis. Los Alamos National Laboratory in New Mexico built and tested dozens of Trombe wall prototypes. Their findings were staggering. A properly designed Trombe wall can provide 30 to 50% of a home's total heating needs. In sunny climates like the American Southwest, that number jumps to 70%. A study published by the National Renewable Energy Laboratory found that Trombe walls in Albuquerque, New Mexico, reduced annual heating energy consumption by 47% compared to conventional insulated walls. 47%, nearly half your heating bill eliminated by a wall. But Trombe was not finished. he discovered that by adding operable vents to the exterior, the same wall could cool your home in summer. Open the exterior vents at night and close the interior ones. Cool night air flows through the gap, chilling the massive wall. During the day, close the exterior vents and open the interior ones. The cooled wall absorbs heat from the room, acting as a passive air conditioner, heating in winter, cooling in summer from the same wall with zero energy input. Researchers at the Indian Institute of Technology tested this dual mode system in 2015. They measured interior temperature reductions of 6 to 8 degrees C during peak summer without a single watt of electricity. A team at the University of Sheffield in England found that adding phase change materials to the wall increased thermal storage capacity by 40%. The wall became even more efficient. Scientists at MIT calculated that if just 10% of American homes installed Trombe walls, the country would save over 12 billion kilowatt-hours of energy per year. That is enough electricity to power 1.2 million homes for 12 months. The technology is proven, tested, and documented in hundreds of peer-reviewed papers, and yet almost nobody has heard of it. If you've made it this far, you already know more about passive heating and cooling than 99% of homeowners. Subscribe and share with someone who needs to remember what they made us forget. And remember, everything the industry buried is in the complete vault. Link in the description. Now stay with me. The next vault is the heaviest. So why is this wall not on every home in the world? Why did architects stop teaching it? Why does your energy company never mention it? The global heating, ventilation, and air conditioning industry generates over $240 billion per year. $240 billion. That revenue depends entirely on one thing: your dependence on their machines. Every furnace sold, every air conditioning unit installed, every filter replaced, every technician visit scheduled generates revenue. A Trombe wall generates zero recurring revenue. You cannot sell a subscription to sunlight. You cannot patent concrete and glass. You cannot charge a monthly fee for thermal mass. The wall does not break down because it has no parts that can break. It does not need servicing because there is nothing to service. It does not need replacing because concrete lasts centuries. You build it once and your heating bill drops by half forever. The entire business model of the HPS ski industry requires you to believe that comfort depends on complex, expensive machines. A wall that does the same job for free is not just competition, it is an existential threat. So what happened? During the 1970s oil crisis, governments invested heavily in passive solar research. The United States, France, and Germany built thousands of Trombe wall homes. The technology was advancing rapidly. Then oil prices collapsed in the 1980s and the funding vanished overnight. Research programs were defunded. University courses on passive solar design were removed from architecture curricula. Building codes were rewritten to favor mechanical heating and cooling systems. The HVAC industry lobbied hard and effectively. By the 1990s, the Trombe wall had been erased from mainstream construction knowledge, not because it failed, because it made the wrong people lose money. Today, architecture students graduate without ever hearing the name Felix Trombe. Contractors install $50,000 HVAC systems in homes that could be heated by a wall, and homeowners pay hundreds of dollars every month for a problem that was solved 60 years ago with concrete, glass, and sunlight. I need to be honest with you here. The Trombe wall is not a perfect solution for every climate. In regions with very little winter sun, its effectiveness drops significantly. In humid tropical climates, moisture management between the glass and wall requires careful design. And retrofitting an existing home is more complex than building one from scratch. But for the vast majority of temperate and sunny climates, which covers most of the populated world, this technology works. It has been proven over and over again. The limitations are real, but manageable. The suppression is what is unforgivable. Here's what you can do. If you're building a new home or renovating, find the south-facing wall with the most sun exposure. That is your Trombe wall location. Build or retrofit that wall section with 8 to 16 in of dense concrete or masonry. Paint the exterior surface matte to black. This maximizes solar absorption. Install a sheet of tempered glass 4 in front of the wall surface, sealed at the edges. Cut 2 rows of vents through the wall, one near the floor and one near the ceiling, each about 4 in diameter. Install simple dampers on the vents so you can open and close them by season. In winter, open the interior vents and close the exterior ones. The convection loop heats your home. In summer, reverse the process. Open exterior vents at night, close them during the day. The wall cools your space. The total material cost for a 12TX8FT Trombe wall section is between $500 and $1,500. A new central HVAC system costs between $7,000 and $15,000 plus hundreds per year in electricity and maintenance forever. The Trombe wall pays for itself in the first winter. A homesteader in New Mexico built a Trombe wall on his south-facing garage wall 3 years ago. His propane heating bill dropped by 60% the first winter. He has spent $0 on maintenance since. A family in southern France retrofitted 2 walls of their farmhouse in 2019. They eliminated their electric heater entirely. Their home stays between 18 and 22 degrees C year-round with no mechanical system whatsoever. These are not experiments. These are people living with technology that works. Technology that someone decided you should not know about. Felix Trombe died in 1985. He spent his final years watching the industry he challenged dismantle everything he built. Funding cut, research shelved, his wall erased from textbooks. But concrete does not forget. Glass does not forget. The sun does not care about quarterly earnings reports. This knowledge did not die. It was buried. Buried under $240 billion of machines designed to keep you dependent. But buried is not destroyed. Every wall you build is a wall the industry cannot sell around. Every home that hates itself is a home that escapes the system. We did not lose the Trombe wall. We just stopped looking. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe and share. Every share preserves what they tried to erase. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside is even heavier.